Hello, my friend. Welcome back to English with Thomas. I am really glad you are here with me today, wherever you are listening from. Maybe you are sitting on your bed after a long day. Maybe you are walking slowly on a quiet street. Or maybe you are just taking a short break from work. I want you to know this. You do not need to rush right now. You do not need to be perfect. You only need to be present. Today, I want to talk about something very real, very human, and very common, but often misunderstood. Today's theme is this: I always feel tired after talking to people. If that sentence feels familiar to you, you are not alone. If you have ever finished a conversation and felt heavy, drained, or strangely empty, then this episode is for you. And as always, we will not just talk about English. We will talk about life, about energy, about emotions, and about the quiet space inside you that language touches. Let's begin gently. I want to tell you about a morning not long ago. I woke up early that day. The light outside was soft, almost shy, like it wasn't ready to fully enter the room yet. I made myself a cup of coffee and stood by the window. I wasn't thinking about anything important. I was just breathing, watching people walk by, feeling calm. At that moment, I felt full. Not full of excitement, not full of plans, just full in a quiet way. My mind was clear. My body felt light. Then my phone buzzed. A message from a colleague. Then another. Then a reminder about a meeting later. That day, by the time I finished breakfast, I was already talking. Not with my voice, but with my mind. Responding, explaining, preparing sentences, choosing words. And I remember thinking to myself, I haven't even left my house yet, and I already feel tired. Later that day, I met a friend for coffee. We talked for more than an hour. We talked about work, about family, about plans, about worries. I listened carefully. I responded kindly. I smiled at the right moments. I nodded. I reacted. When we said goodbye, my friend looked refreshed, relaxed, almost energized. I walked home slowly and felt the opposite. My shoulders were heavy. My head felt full. My chest felt tight. I remember thinking very clearly, why do I always feel tired after talking to people? Maybe you have asked yourself the same question. Maybe after a family dinner, you feel exhausted. Maybe after a long meeting, you feel like you need silence. Maybe after chatting with friends, you don't feel happy. You feel empty. And sometimes, this feeling can confuse us. We might think, is something wrong with me? Am I antisocial? Why can other people talk all day and feel fine, but I can't? I want to tell you something important, and I want you to hear it slowly. Feeling tired after talking to people does not mean you are weak. It does not mean you are cold. And it does not mean you don't like people. Often, it means you are sensitive. It means you are aware. It means you are present. And this is where language becomes very interesting. Let's look at that sentence again, slowly. I always feel tired after talking to people. Repeat it with me. Gently. I always feel tired after talking to people. Now, try saying it a little more slowly. I always feel tired after talking to people. Notice the word after. This word tells us something important. The tiredness comes later, not during. After. During the conversation, you might be focused. You might be polite. You might even enjoy the moment. But after it ends, your body speaks. Your body says, that took energy. In English, we often use the phrase socially drained. Listen carefully. I feel socially drained. This means your energy feels empty after social interaction. Repeat after me. Socially drained. Good. Another phrase you might hear is emotionally exhausted. Emotionally exhausted. This doesn't mean something bad happened. It just means your emotions were active for a long time. Now, let me tell you another story. A few years ago, I was teaching a full day of classes, one class after another. Different students, different personalities, different energy. I love teaching. I really do. I love listening to people express themselves in a new language. I love helping them find words for their thoughts. But that evening, when I came home, I didn't want to talk to anyone. Not because I was angry, not because I was sad. I was simply empty. I sat on the floor, leaned my back against the sofa, and closed my eyes. The room was quiet. No voices, no questions, no expectations. And in that silence, I slowly came back to myself. That was when I realized something very important. Talking is not just using words. Talking is giving attention. Talking is sharing energy. When you talk to people, especially when you care, you are not only speaking English, you are listening, understanding, reacting, adjusting. That is a lot of work for the mind. Now, let's connect this to language learning. Many learners tell me, Thomas, I feel tired after speaking English, and they often think it's because their English is bad, but very often, it's not about English at all. It's about effort. When you speak a second language, you are doing many things at the same time. You are thinking about vocabulary. You are thinking about pronunciation. You are thinking about how you sound. You are thinking about how the other person feels. So if you say, I feel tired after speaking English, that is completely natural. Repeat this sentence with me. I feel tired after speaking English. Good. Now, try changing one word. I feel tired after talking to people. You see, the structure is the same. The feeling is the same. The tiredness does not mean failure. It means involvement. Let me ask you something gently. When you talk to people, do you listen deeply? Do you think before you speak? Do you try to understand emotions, not just words? If the answer is yes, then of course you feel tired. You are giving something real. Sometimes I feel that the world celebrates people who are loud, fast, and always talking. But there is a quiet strength in those who feel deeply. And if that is you, I want you to hear this clearly. You do not need to become someone else to learn English well. You do not need to talk more than your heart allows. You need to talk honestly. Let's practice a few gentle sentences you can use in real life. Listen first. I need a little quiet time. Repeat after me. I need a little quiet time. This is a very healthy sentence. Another one. I feel tired after socializing. Repeat. I feel tired after socializing. Notice the word socializing. It means being with people, talking, sharing time. Here is another simple and kind sentence. I enjoyed talking, but now I need to rest. Try saying it slowly. I enjoyed talking, but now I need to rest. There is no apology here, no guilt, just honesty. Now, let me share a personal reflection with you. For a long time, I thought something was wrong with me because I needed silence after conversations. I thought I should be more energetic, more outgoing, more talkative. But over time, I learned to respect my rhythm. I learned that after giving my attention to others, I need to give attention back to myself. Language helped me do that, because when you have the right words, you don't have to explain yourself too much. You don't have to hide. You can simply say how you feel. Sometimes I feel tired after talking to people. Sometimes I need space. Sometimes silence is my way of breathing. And maybe you felt this too. Maybe you come home after work and don't want to talk. Maybe you avoid messages not because you don't care, but because you are full. If that is you, I want you to know you are not alone. Now, let's slow down even more. I want you to imagine a conversation you had recently. It doesn't need to be important. Maybe it was with a coworker, maybe with a friend, maybe with a family member. In your mind, replay the end of that conversation. How did your body feel? Heavy, light, tight, empty. In English, you can describe this with simple words. I felt heavy. I felt drained. I felt quiet inside. Repeat one that feels true to you. Now, I want to talk about one more idea, and this is very important. Sometimes we don't feel tired because of talking. We feel tired because of pretending. Pretending to be interested, pretending to agree, pretending to be okay. When you talk but hide your true feelings, the tiredness becomes deeper. I remember a time when I said yes to conversations I didn't have energy for. I smiled when I wanted to rest. I listened when my mind was already full. At the end of those days, I didn't just feel tired. I felt disconnected from myself. Learning English helped me change that, because English gave me new sentences. Sentences like, I'm not in the right headspace to talk right now. Repeat slowly. I'm not in the right headspace to talk right now. This sentence is calm. It is respectful. It is honest. Here is another one. Can we talk later? I'm feeling a bit tired. Try it. Can we talk later? I'm feeling a bit tired. You see, English is not just a tool for communication. It is a tool for self-respect. When we talk about our energy, we are learning to live, not just to speak. Sometimes I think that learning a language is really about learning to notice yourself. When you say, I feel tired after talking to people, you are noticing your limits. And noticing is not weakness. It is awareness. Now, let's bring everything together. You feel tired after talking to people because you care, because you listen, because you are present. And that is something beautiful. The goal is not to change who you are. The goal is to understand yourself and give yourself permission to rest. Before we finish, I want you to repeat this final sentence with me. I am allowed to rest after I give my energy. Say it again, slowly. I am allowed to rest after I give my energy. Good. Let that sentence stay with you today. Maybe after this episode, you will talk to someone. Maybe you will choose silence. Both are okay. You are not just learning English. You are learning how to listen to yourself, how to protect your energy, how to express your truth, gently and clearly. Thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for listening, for reflecting, for feeling. This is English with Thomas. I'm Thomas. Keep speaking, keep growing, and keep trusting yourself. And before you go, I want to stay with you a little longer. Not to teach you something new, but to sit with you in what is already true. Sometimes, after we finish talking to people, there is a strange silence that follows. It is not an empty silence, it is a full one. A silence filled with thoughts that did not have space to speak, with feelings that were held back politely, with reactions that stayed inside. I know this silence well. I often notice it when I close the door behind me after meeting someone. The sound of the door closing is soft, but clear, and right after that sound, my body relaxes, my shoulders drop, my breathing changes. It is as if my body is saying, now you can be yourself again. That moment used to scare me. I used to think, why do I feel relieved when I am alone? Why do I need distance after connection? But now, I understand it differently. I understand that connection costs energy, and solitude restores it. Neither is better than the other. They are a cycle. Talking, then resting, sharing, then returning, giving, then refilling. In English, there is a simple phrase I like very much. I need to recharge. Repeat after me. I need to recharge. This phrase comes from technology, from batteries, from phones, but it fits humans perfectly. When you talk, you use energy. When you rest, you recharge. Another gentle sentence you can use is this: I feel overstimulated. Say it slowly. I feel overstimulated. This means there is too much input, too many sounds, too many words, too many emotions. And again, this is not a problem. It is a signal. I want to tell you about another small moment from my life. One evening, I was invited to a small gathering. Nothing loud, nothing extreme, just a few people, sitting around a table, talking. At first, everything was fine. I listened, I spoke, I laughed, but after a while, I noticed something subtle. My responses became shorter. My smile felt heavy. My mind started to drift. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel bored. I felt full. And instead of forcing myself to stay, I said something very simple. I think I'm going to head home. I'm feeling a bit tired. No excuses, no long explanation. And something beautiful happened. No one was offended. No one was upset. Because honesty, when spoken calmly, often creates understanding. That night, as I walked home, I felt proud. Not because I spoke English well, but because I listened to myself. This is something I want you to remember. Learning English is not about becoming louder. It is not about talking more. It is about speaking when it matters and resting when you need to. Many people who feel tired after talking to others are very good listeners. They notice tone. They notice mood. They notice what is not being said. This kind of listening is powerful, but it is also tiring. In English, you might say, I absorb a lot when I listen. Repeat. I absorb a lot when I listen. Absorb means to take in. Like a sponge. If you absorb emotions, words, and energy, then you must also release them. For me, release often comes through silence, walking, writing, or simply breathing. For you, it might be different, but whatever it is, it matters. Now, I want to gently connect this back to your English journey. If you ever feel tired after an English conversation, do not judge yourself. Do not say, I'm bad at English. Instead, try saying this. That conversation took focus. Repeat. That conversation took focus. Focus is effort. Effort means growth. And growth often feels tiring before it feels comfortable. Sometimes I feel that language learners are very hard on themselves. They expect fluency without fatigue, confidence without cost. But real communication is alive, and anything alive uses energy. So if you feel tired, it means you were present, and presence is more important than perfection. Let's practice one last reflection together. Listen carefully, and then repeat if it feels right. I don't need to force connection. Now again, slowly, I don't need to force connection. And one more. My energy matters. My energy matters. Yes, it really does. As we come closer to the end of our time together today, I want you to imagine your next conversation. Not in detail, just imagine the feeling. Imagine entering it calmly, speaking honestly, listening without pressure, and imagine leaving it without guilt. You are allowed to step back. You are allowed to be quiet. You are allowed to feel tired and still be whole. English is not asking you to change who you are. English is offering you words to be who you already are. More clearly, thank you for staying with me until the end. Thank you for giving your attention even when attention costs energy. And even now, after everything we have shared together, I want you to notice something. You are still here. That means you had enough energy to listen, to feel, to reflect. And maybe right now, you also feel a quiet kind of tiredness. Not the painful kind, just a soft signal from your body and mind saying, I've taken in a lot. That is okay. I want to talk a little more about what happens inside us when we talk to people, especially when we care about doing it well. When you speak, you are not only choosing words, you are choosing tone, you are choosing timing, you are choosing how much of yourself to show. For many people, especially gentle and thoughtful people, this choice is constant. Should I speak now? Should I stay quiet? Is this the right word? Did I say that correctly? Did I hurt them? Did they understand me? All of these questions live quietly inside a single conversation. And even if you don't say them out loud, your mind is working hard. In English, there is a phrase I think describes this very well. I overthink conversations. Repeat it with me. I overthink conversations. Overthink means to think too much, to go in circles inside your head. If this sentence feels true to you, I want you to hear this next part very carefully. Overthinking does not mean you are broken. It often means you are considerate. You care about how your words land. You care about how others feel. You care about meaning. That care has weight, and weight makes us tired. Sometimes, after a conversation, I replay it in my head. I hear my own voice again. I wonder if I could have said something better, clearer, kinder. In those moments, I gently remind myself of another simple sentence. I did my best with what I had. Say it slowly. I did my best with what I had. This sentence is not dramatic. It is not emotional, but it is kind, and kindness, especially toward yourself, saves energy. Now, let me share something very honest with you. There are days when I choose not to talk much, not because I dislike people, not because I'm sad, but because I know my inner world needs space. Silence, for me, is not empty. It is where I organize my thoughts. It is where I feel my emotions without explaining them. If you feel the same way, English gives you gentle ways to protect that space. Listen to this sentence. I'm more of a listener today. Repeat. I'm more of a listener today. This sentence does not close the door, simply adjusts the volume. Here is another one. I don't have much to say right now, but I'm happy to be here. Try it slowly. I don't have much to say right now, but I'm happy to be here. This is a beautiful sentence. It allows presence without pressure. Sometimes, the tiredness we feel after talking comes from pressure we put on ourselves. The pressure to perform, to entertain, to respond quickly. But real connection does not need performance. It needs honesty. I want to tell you about a conversation I had many years ago with a student. After class, she stayed behind and said, "Thomas, I feel so tired after speaking English. I feel like I'm failing." I looked at her and said, "No, you are practicing something very brave." She looked confused, and I explained, "You are letting people hear your thoughts in a language that is not your first. That takes courage. Courage uses energy." She smiled, and for the first time, she stopped apologizing for being tired. I want the same for you, whether you feel tired after talking in English or tired after talking in general. I want you to stop judging that feeling. Instead, get curious about it. Ask yourself, gently, what did I give just now? Attention, care, patience, emotion. If you gave something, then tiredness makes sense. In English, you can say, "That took a lot out of me." Repeat, "That took a lot out of me." This sentence does not complain, it explains. And explanation brings relief as we slowly move toward the final moments of our time together. I want to leave you with a small shift in perspective. What if feeling tired after talking to people is not a weakness to fix, but a signal to honor? What if it is your inner compass, telling you when to slow down, when to step back, when to return to yourself? Language helps us listen to that compass. Language gives shape to feelings that would otherwise stay heavy and unclear. And when feelings have words, they become lighter. You don't need to talk all the time to be valuable. You don't need to be energetic to be enough. You don't need to explain your silence for it to be valid. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. And when you do speak, speak from a place that feels true, even if that place is quiet, gentle, and tired. Thank you for allowing me to share this space with you. Thank you for listening with your whole self. And now, it is time to let the words rest. If you are listening to this at the end of your day, I hope you can carry this quiet feeling with you into the evening. If you are listening in the morning, I hope you move through your day with a little more kindness toward your own energy. Remember this: you do not owe the world constant conversation. You do not owe anyone your last bit of strength. You are allowed to choose when to speak and when to be silent. Feeling tired after talking to people is not something to be ashamed of. It is simply information. Information about who you are, how deeply you listen, and how sincerely you show up. Let that information guide you, not judge you. As you continue learning English, let your learning follow the same rhythm. Speak, then rest. Practice, then reflect. Grow, then breathe. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are learning in the most human way possible. Thank you for sharing this time with me, for opening your mind and your heart, and for trusting me with your attention. This is English with Thomas. I'm Thomas. Keep speaking, keep growing, and keep trusting yourself.